Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into an absolutely incredible true story today, a real journey of resilience, ambition, and ultimate triumph. It's a narrative all about defying the odds, starting with absolutely nothing, and reaching the absolute pinnacle of global success. Let's dive right into the remarkable rise to glory of a true sporting icon. Now, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine being so incredibly poor that you couldn't even afford a real football. You know, we usually think of sports as pretty accessible, right? Like any kid can just go outside and play. But for the subject of our explainer today, extreme poverty was literally an immediate physical barrier right out of the gate. Because his family had very little money, this young boy from a small town in Brazil just had to improvise. He actually used a ball made entirely out of old socks and crumpled up newspapers. I mean, think about the mechanics of that for a second. It doesn't bounce right, it definitely doesn't fly straight, and honestly, it just falls apart. But, this was literally his only way to play the game he loved. And that young boy, kicking stuffed socks around the streets of a small Brazilian town, that boy was Pelé. It's honestly kind of hard to wrap your head around, right? Reconciling the massively famous name of Pelé with the image of that impoverished kid. But that is exactly where his legendary story begins. Section 1. Dreams on Dusty Streets. So, as a child, Pelé had this massive, burning dream of becoming a football star. But man, the reality was harsh. Every single day, he'd be out there practicing for hours on these dusty streets. And he wasn't just fighting poverty here, he was battling the people around him. People actually laughed at his dream. Can you imagine the mental toll of that? Practicing with a makeshift ball of garbage while people in your own town are openly mocking you? But here's the thing. Despite the dusty streets, despite the sock ball, and especially despite all that laughter, his defining trait was simple. He never stopped believing. That unwavering belief was his true foundation. He just completely tuned out the mockery and locked in on his dream. Which brings us to Section 2, the rapid ascent. You see, when raw talent meets that kind of unrelenting practice, things change fast. Like breathtakingly fast. At just 15 years old, Pelé joined a professional football club. I mean, think about what you were doing at 15. Then, literally 1 year later, at 16, he gets selected for Brazil's national team. He's representing his entire country before he's even a legal adult. And then, at 17, he hits the ultimate milestone and completely shocks the world at the 1958 World Cup. We're talking about a meteoric rise through the absolute highest ranks of the sport in just 3 years. Moving on to Section 3, shocking the world, the 1958 FIFA World Cup. I really need this number to sink in for a second. 17. In 1958, Pelé was only 17 years old. On the absolute biggest stage in the entire sport, under the massive pressure of international competition, this teenager didn't just show up, he absolutely dominated. He scored these unbelievable goals and played a massive part in helping Brazil win its very first World Cup title. Just like that, the teenager who once played with a ball of old socks had become a global superstar. The transformation was complete. He basically bridged this impossible gap between the dusty streets of his hometown and the absolute center of the global spotlight. It completely validated every single hour he spent practicing while people laughed at him. Section 4. The King's Lasting Legacy. Over the course of his incredible career, Pelé put up numbers that honestly kind of defy logic. He scored more than 1,000 goals. 1,000. It's just a massive testament to his unbelievable skill, his consistency, and how he just dominated the pitch year after year. And well, as if over 1,000 goals wasn't enough, follow that right up with this absolutely staggering stat 3. Pelé won 3 World Cups, and according to the source material we're looking at today, that is a record that still stands. No other player in the entire history of the sport has lifted that trophy as many times as he did. So because of these unmatched achievements, those unmatched records, and his undeniable, once-in-a-generation talent, fans worldwide gave him the ultimate title, the King of Football. And the coolest part? This wasn't some official title handed down by a governing body. It was earned right there on the pitch, given to him by the millions of people who watched him play. But, let's slow down for a second here. The numbers, the trophies, the title of king, they're all incredible. But what made Pelé truly special wasn't just his goals. It was his story. The stats are really just the surface level. The journey he took to get there is the true marvel of this explainer. because it all goes back to the very beginning. He was simply a poor boy with a dream. No resources, no early advantages, just a really clear vision of what he wanted his life to be. And more importantly than that, he was a boy who absolutely refused to quit. When the harsh reality of his poverty could have easily stopped him, or when the laughter of his neighbors could have completely broken his spirit, he just kept kicking that ball of newspaper. His unyielding resilience really was his superpower. And through that stubborn refusal to quit, that poor boy with a dream became a boy who changed football forever. He left this permanent, historical mark on the sport that's literally never going to be erased. He showed the entire world what's possible when pure talent is fueled by an unbreakable will. Which leaves us with one final, pretty powerful thought for today's explainer. If a boy with a ball of socks can change the world, what could you do with your dreams? Seriously, don't ever let your current circumstances dictate your ceiling. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today to explore this incredible journey. Keep learning, keep believing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.